Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful. Today we will discuss two verses of the Holy Quran, the literal meanings of two verses from chapter 35, verse number 9 and verse number 27. And we will discuss some aspects which are evident in these two verses of the Holy Quran. So an aspect which is evident from these verses of the Holy Quran is that the processes and phenomena going on in the universe are not haphazard and random, rather they are under the control of Allah Almighty. Allah Almighty is the creator of all things, and He has the knowledge of all things, and He has control over all things. It is evident in these verses that the winds, the rains, the clouds, and revival of dead land, revival of barren land are in the control of Allah Almighty. The next thing which is evident in these verses is that there is diversity in the creation of Allah Almighty. The next thing which is evident in these verses is that the things which Allah Almighty has created, they are not beneficial only, rather they are beautiful also, having various colors. Allah Almighty causes the fruits to grow. The next thing which is evident in these verses is that the land is the same, water is the same, but Allah Almighty causes different types of fruits and vegetables and plants to grow from the same land. And the example of revival of dead land is being quoted as a logical evidence for the resurrection, that the people who do not believe in the life after death, people who deny resurrection, they should consider the example of dead land, that Allah Almighty sends down water from the sky and revive the dead land with it. Similar will be the case of resurrection. Allah Almighty will resurrect the people on the day of judgment. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Alam, do not, tara, you see, Anna Allah, that Allah anzala, sends down, minas samai, from the sky, ma'an, water. فَأَخْرَجْنَا, so we bring forth, bihi, therewith, thamaratin, fruits, mukhtalifan, various, alwanuha, colors. وَمِنَ الْجِبَالِ, and in mountains, judadun are tracts, bidun, white, وَحُمrun, and red. مُخْتَلِفٌ, various, alwanuha, colors. وَغَرَابِيبُ, and in tents, sudun, black. Chapter 35, verse number 27, Allah Almighty says, Allah Almighty sends down water from the sky and bring forth with it fruits of various colors. And in mountains there are tracts, some are red, some are white, and some are intensely black. The next verse is from the same chapter, verse number 9. Allah Almighty says, Wallahu, and Allah, Allazi, the one who arsala riyaha, sends the winds, fatusiru, so they raise sahaban, clouds. Fasuqnahu, then we drive them, ila baladin, to a land, mayyitin, dead. فَأَحْيَيْنَا, so we revive, bihi, therewith, al-ard, the earth, ba'da, after, mautiha, its death, كَذَلِكَ النُّشُورُ, thus will be resurrection. Allah Almighty is the one who sends the winds, which raise the clouds, and Allah Almighty says that, we drive the clouds to a land which is barren, which is dead, which is lifeless. And Allah Almighty says, فَأَحْيَيْنَا, and we revive, بِهِ الْأَرْضَ, therewith the earth, بَعْدَ مَوْتِهَا, after its death, after its lifelessness. كَذَلِكَ النُّشُورُ, thus will be the resurrection. And that is, Allah Almighty says that as we revive the dead land, similarly we are able to resurrect the people on the day of judgment. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.